Some startups go up, others go down. Welcome to GeekWire's elevator pitch, where 3 entrepreneurs pitch their businesses in the 48 seconds it takes to get to the top of Seattle's first skyscraper, the Smith Tower. Over the course of 9 episodes, we'll narrow the field from 27 entrepreneurs to 1 winner. In this episode of Elevator Pitch, presented by Smartsheet, we'll hear from 3 startup founders as they pitch their emerging businesses to our panel of leading investors and entrepreneurs. T.A. McCann, a serial software entrepreneur, professional sailor, and managing director at Pioneer Square Labs. He sold his last company to Google and counts Rival IQ and more than a half dozen other startups to his name. Stephen Brandstetter, an angel investor and vice president at Smartsheet. He caught the entrepreneurial bug in college and sold his first startup to Active Network. Heather Redman, power broker and former Getty Images executive, who cuts deals as the managing director of venture capital firm Flying Fish Partners. Richard Tate, the motorcycle-riding Scotsman and mastermind behind the hit board game Cranium, who now stirs up new ideas inside Starbucks. The clock is ticking. Jump on board and ride with us on the elevator pitch and find out which entrepreneur has what it takes to make it to the top.
I'm Jeff Ludwig with Hyperspace XR.
Welcome to Smith Tower.
Hyperspace is building massive walkthrough VR experiences and the platform to power them. Experiences currently range from 2,000 to 4,000 square feet, where guests feel heat, cold, wind, smell, and touch, all while taking part in a story. We're establishing the first ecosystem around this brand new form of out-of-home entertainment based around modular environments and effects. Developers have a seamless method for creating these very complex attractions, and with a revenue share model, enjoy profitability in VR. Venues have an interchangeable exhibit, which promotes higher repeat business and can be installed at lower cost and higher sales per square foot than existing installations. We're a pilot partner with Microsoft and HP, and our first installation, Wonderfall, is installed at Pacific Science Center this month.
Is your business the location, the facility?
So it's the platform layer that operates high throughput, aligning virtual environments to physical worlds, and then we have a number of extended reality effects that developers can drag and drop into a Unity file, an Unreal file, basically export that file and be able to play it in a large environment.
But who owns the hardware?
The venue owns the hardware.
What does it cost to sort of set up one of these venues?
It's about $150,000 for high throughput, so the highest throughput we can do just for the backpacks, the headsets, all of the gear, and then another $50,000 to $75,000 for the environment itself, which would change out every experience that comes along the way.
How many have you sold?
We have 1 installation at the Pacific Science Center that's opening this month. That's our first installation. We have about 10 others that we're currently talking with, and then about another 10 developers about additional experiences along the way.
As a customer, why would I come? Describe the experience to me.
Deep immersion. Basically, you step into the story in the game for the first time. You actually feel like you're there. You're able to transport to another world in the center of Seattle. So basically, you go through with groups of 4, you experience everything that you see inside the virtual world is fully virtual, but then you can reach out and touch the physical environment. So for example, we're doing a village setting where you help this young girl who's in creating this invention, and so you're able to interact in the real world with physical objects that affect the scene that you're feeling, and then you feel wind and rumble effects and whirlwinds and that kind of thing to add to that immersion level.
What type of price point is it for the consumer?
Currently, we're at $30 for a 30-minute experience, $1 per minute. Our competition's about 2.5 times that. We kind of feel like it's a novelty price.
And that's 30 minutes for 4 people, or $30 each?
$30 per person, and so $1 per minute seems about where we feel like we'll fall in.
And what's your core competitive advantage? I'm still kind of struggling with.
A couple of things. So one, we allow high throughput and long experiences. So we use inside-out tracking technology. We have no technology in the space that's tracking you. Everything's on the player, looking at the environment and referencing the environment. So that allows us to have a lot of people in the environment and long experiences. Our competition uses basically motion capture technology, so a grid of cameras over the environment. They're very expensive, hard to calibrate, and you have a limit to how many people can be in the experience, and so we're the opposite of that.
And is your business model primarily selling the environment, that $150K, or is it more on the rev share side?
The rev share side. So basically working with venues and developers at a 40-30-30 rev share model, so 40% for the venue, 30% for the developer, and then 30% for the platform.
Where does this go from here? What's the next element of your technology that you want to build out?
We really want to work with science centers and build that out as sort of a niche, just to kind of get that base grounding for what we can do. And then if the platform goes the direction we're hoping, developers should be able to jump in, develop an experience, and then deploy at any venue. So a venue can come on and say, look, I have 3,000 square feet. Here are the parts I currently have. What's available for me? And then any kind of IP that they could download and be able to run that experience in their location.
Science centers because of the audience that they're drawing?
They're very established venues. We're really focusing on those with IMAX already there. They understand entertainment, they understand that earned revenue model, and they have an already established throughput that's going through 750,000 to 1 million people a year. And so playing off that, as opposed to competition who are building their own centers that have to draw that traffic, we're really focused on places where guests are already going to spend that entertainment dollar, and to be able to kind of give them an immersive experience that they've never, ever experienced.
And how much does it cost, or how long does it take you to create a new experience on top of the same hardware platform?
It takes about 4 months with a team of 10, potentially. So the difference between our building a game for us and building a traditional game takes $2 to $3 million over 2 years with a 100-person team. We're about 3 to 4 months, 10 people, and anywhere from 3 to 400,000. For a group, which then they can recoup in about 3 to 4 months.
I like the focus on the science centers. That seems like a strong approach versus what he described the competitors to be doing.
Yeah, I'm a huge skeptic on VR. I was hoping to hear him talk about the places where you do like the faux golf, because I think that might be sort of an analogy that he should use, but I'm skeptical about people's willingness to pay for this kind of experience.
But you think about like IMAX and some of these 4D theaters which are coming online, and consumers' desire to pay more for a more enhanced experience. And I don't know how big that business is, but it seems like following along with the IMAX and the Science Center deployment would seem logical, at least for a starting point for this business.
So I went to see one of those 4D movies the other day with my son, and there was only 4 people in the movie theater. And so, and it was $16 for each of us. And so when I went to pay for it, and it was $32 just for the experience, I can't imagine for a family of 4 going to this at $30 a pop. It's $120 for that experience. So then when he describes moment to wow, I'm thinking, okay, moment to wow for $120 for a family of 4. Like, how much wow does there have to be before I feel like I'm getting the value out of that entertainment experience? And so I think the pricing will be prohibitive for a mass audience. But I do agree. I think the focus on the Science Center and the audience that's already going there for a rich entertainment experience. But I think you're right. Virtual golf actually allows me to improve a skill.
Right.
So there's something that I'm actually feeling a sense of personal enrichment with. I don't know if just a general experience is going to pull enough people in.
I wonder about that approach then. So if it's $120 is too much for a family, but I think about $30 as a young single person with a job, that doesn't seem too extreme. So potentially there's a different approach there where focusing instead on the family experience, on the individual experience.
I'm Boaz Ashkenazi, and I'm the CEO of Simply Augmented. Welcome to Smith Tower. We're using augmented reality to improve the effectiveness of enterprise sales reps, specifically in industries where physical products are expensive and time-consuming to demo for clients. Sales executives consistently complain to us about the lack of product availability and the high cost of producing physical mock-ups. We solve these issues, improve customer engagement, and accelerate the sales cycle by enabling prospects to visualize AR in their environment in real time. We launched in 2018, and our enterprise sales platform is already in use by sales teams from 2 of the major furniture manufacturers, Herman Miller and Hayworth.
How do you charge for the platform?
It's a subscription-based platform. It's per salesperson per month.
And what does the customer need? So you got the sales rep who's delivering this experience, but what does the customer on the other end need from a technology perspective?
All they need is an iPhone or an iPad.
Walk me through a scenario.
At the beginning of the scenario, we have manufacturers and we have dealers on both sides. And so in Herman Miller's case, the dealers are their sales team. They're spread out across the country. And we upload physical content to the platform. We optimize that content and turn it into 3D AR assets. Once those assets are in the library, salespeople can access that. They can create their own apps instantly, and then they deliver them to their customers with a text message. Customers drop those products into the world and they can experience them. And there are a variety of scales. They can be everything from a single chair to a workstation to a full environment.
And is it dependent on the type of product? Does it work better for physical products versus services?
Yeah, it works best for physical products because these are physical products that they're trying to sell into the environment. They're just hard to mock up. So oftentimes, late in the sales cycle, they will, in order to close deals, they'll mock up full-size mock-ups. Sometimes they cost $10,000 to mock up and weeks to deliver. And so it's really increasing in the sales cycle when they...
And how do you measure success?
The ability for them to close deals faster.
What type of feedback have you been getting from your customers so far?
So far, they've been really excited. On one end, it's fun for them. A lot of sales executives will complain to us about early in the sales cycle not having enough engagement. Architecture and design is their audience that they're trying to reach out to. And there's a lot of competition for their eyeballs. And so being able to send something out that's kind of exciting and new is generating a lot of interest when they're prospecting. And then later in the sales cycle, they're able to deliver mock-ups and close deals faster.
So talk a little bit about the process of onboarding a customer. I mean, these are fast-moving new lines of product. What is the process, and is it self-serve? Do you have a vision to have it be self-serve? Talk about that.
Yeah, most of the process right now is self-serve. The only piece that's a little bit manual is us optimizing the 3D content. So oftentimes, with these furniture companies is a good example, in the manufacturing process, they have 3D already. It just needs to be cleaned and optimized. And so one of the moats that we're creating is being able to automate the optimization and the cleaning of those assets. But once they're in the cloud, everything else is self-serve.
Talk a little bit more about moat and lock-in of customers. Why do you guys not get out-competed by somebody else down the road with a wider customer net?
Yeah, I mean, in general, right now, we're just manically focused on these customers and on sales reps in particular. And there's money out there that is being spent on finding these solutions. And so we're super committed to figuring it out for this group. And we see that a technological moat in two spots. One, in the ingestion of the products themselves, but two, just in the simplicity of the delivery. There's a lot of augmented reality in the world right now, but salespeople are a finicky group. And if it doesn't work for them the first time, they don't adopt. And so, I think one of our superpowers is really figuring out how to make this complex exchange very, very simple.
Outside of furniture sales, what are the next 2 or 3 industries you plan on going after?
So when we started this process, we piloted 5 different industries. And one of them was furniture, and those guys rose to the top. But we're talking to people in the medical equipment space, food service and equipment. We're looking at outdoor furnishing for hospitality, fireplaces, outdoor furnishing. And then we're also looking at merchandising, retail merchandising with displays.
What's the core competitive advantage?
I think right now the core competitive advantage is really understanding this customer base and being laser focused on figuring out how to create a very, very simple UX experience for them.
How does a sales rep create the environment to put the furniture in?
It's not necessary to create the environment because they're taking the objects and dropping them into their environment. And so it's not necessary to build out this environment. They just drop the objects right in front of their customers.
What I would have loved to have heard is, does it cut the sales time in half? Like, is there a productivity advantage? Are you, for a sales rep, are you making more commissions? Are you making more visits? Are you more compelling as a presenter? Like, what is the...
It's another form of brochure, right? I mean, so it doesn't sound that sexy in that way, but it's going to become sort of table stakes, I think.
Well, and almost like the products that we all use now with email and watching people look at our PowerPoints, is the ability to add like a CRM type of layer, which is who looked at it, did they share it, how long, did they move anything around? So it would have been interesting to see that, which is above and beyond just the sort of visual presentation, but also the how does the customer really engage, and measuring that I think would be much more compelling for a salesperson.
Well,
how
and
long,
also
how many touches.
Can you sell it then back to the manufacturer, sort of what's the data, like nobody likes this couch, or this couch always gets swapped out for this couch. What does that mean? We always discourage businesses to rely on data. Monetization is their main strategy, but this one does seem like it has some ancillary revenue possibilities based on data.
Yeah, with all of the different things being sold to sales reps to increase their throughput, it's going to be hard to stand out. And to your point, it is a virtual brochure, and I'm not getting that element of the problem statement that they're solving.
I do love the focus on a specific audience, and as he described, really getting inside the head of the salesperson, designing a UX experience, and making sure from the soup to nuts that they really are focused on that customer. I like that a lot. But your question on what other markets are you looking at, I think is an interesting question just in terms of the growth of the business.
Hi, I'm Bea, co-founder of Dance Reality.
Welcome to Smith Tower.
Dance Reality allows you to learn dance using augmented reality from your smartphone. We place virtual footprints on the floor, you step on the footprints and follow the animations. This makes for a fully immersive and fun learning experience. Since we launched a year ago, we've helped nearly 13,000 people learn to dance from home without spending anything in marketing, thanks to our many press mentions. With AR becoming more available on everyone's smartphone, we estimate that immersive dance education will become a billion-dollar market in the next 5 to 10 years. We are so excited to bring dance to people worldwide with this new technology.
How's it delivered? Like what happens? It's on my phone, it's like what?
So we use AR Kit with Apple, and so we find out where the floor is and we place the footprints on the floor through your phone. So you're holding your phone and you look through, and then you step on the footprints and you follow along. So you're learning the foot pattern, the foot placement. We have counts and or music.
Some of us need a lot of help. Do we get any coaching in this?
Currently, what's available in the App Store is a self-guided practice because it was our first product, but we plan to add life-size holograms of the instructors to come into your home, and so you see the instructor in your space, and they're going to teach you an entire class. So you'd learn directly from the instructor. You'll have the animations to practice the foot patterns, or you can follow the instructor. And we use adaptive learning. So currently, what you'll do is you'll say how you feel after you practice a few repetitions, and then if you're not feeling so great, we'll say, hey, that's okay. Let's do it again. And so we will adapt it to your ability.
What's the revenue model for the business?
So currently, it's freemium to in-app purchase because we don't have a lot of content, but we plan to increase the content so we could offer full dance classes and switch to a subscription model.
How many different dances do you have today?
6 different dances.
I don't get this because I can't imagine dancing with your feet. I mean, yes, the feet are part of it, but it's your whole body. And so holding something to get instructions on what to do with my feet does not seem like a way to learn how to dance to me.
Absolutely. So that's why we're adding the life-size holograms. And also we are ready to add capability for any AR headsets that are coming out. We have one that we've already developed for it, and then there will be more hardware coming out. So we have a headset, an inexpensive headset you drop your phone into, and so your hand's free, and then you'll be able to learn from the life-size hologram as well.
And sorry, you have that right now, the headset, or is that in the future?
The headset is ready. We just have some things to put together with this round of investment. We plan a lot of things.
And how do you measure success? Like, how do you know that a customer's having a great experience?
Right now, we have people that are purchasing an in-app purchase for the little content that we currently have, and we know that they want more because we've been talking to users when we're out there demoing.
So why dance? Why not a sport or cooking or something else that it requires some manual skills that need to be learned?
Well, absolutely. Dance is just our first vertical because me and my co-founder have experience in dance.
So for those 12,000 users, how many of those people are using it often, over and over again, and how do you track competency or proficiency?
Currently, we track all activity in the app as a user is using it, and we don't have a lot of content, so they're only able to stick around for 2 minutes right now because it's all self-guided and they don't know how much they're supposed to practice. But we plan for that number to increase when we increase our content to offer full dance classes.
I liked it a lot. I think it's a novel sort of approach.
I liked the concept until we got into the details of when you said hold it, and I said, okay, that doesn't work. And then we got into this, and that I'm concerned about going around my living room trying to dance with this headset on.
Well, what's your alternative? Your alternative is to go and take dance lessons. If you want to learn how to dance, what is your alternative?
There's so many apps that I can actually get.
I mean, just watch a video.
YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, just like we learn everything these days, you watch YouTube, and we've been trying to do this for a while with personal training, where it's like sort of like this, sort of assisted thing, but it's you're paying less. Maybe there's a human that comes in if you need them. This holographic instructor who might end up being a real instructor. It's sort of a Peloton kind of a thing where you're broadcasting to the many, but I don't see a lot of differentiation on content. I certainly know technology differentiation. So it's all consumer acquisition.
I honestly think it's so early. Like the right approach today may have been, this is what we're learning. There's so little content that's being developed. They don't know yet what the development cost is. So I think it's a very early stage company, and there's a lot to learn.
We know people want to learn to dance.
Yeah.
We know they want to do it in the comfort of their own home. We're trying to solve that problem.
Right.
And so I think that may have been an approach where we would have seen, for any entrepreneur, there's a lot to learn when you're starting to go after a new business like that.
Yeah, but that's what she talked about. She had 12,000 users. She was learning some of them are willing to pay. She has 6 pieces of content, and that she knows the most popular pieces of content that are there, and she's starting to add the analytics around there. It's like, oh, you're a good dancer, I'm a bad dancer, I can improve here.
I didn't hear pricing confidence, like what's the right pricing model, what's the next dance after salsa, like what's the cost of creating that content. So there were some things for me that were pretty fundamental.
Well, I thought the most disturbing thing that she said was, and maybe I should have asked her a follow-up question on this, but she said that the user time on the app was 2 minutes.
Right.
But she's timed, that's her time, not the user time. She said that's the experience that the user times out at.
Right. But I mean, how can you learn anything in 2 minutes?
Certainly not salsa.
Assuming there's a lot of people that want to learn how to dance, this seems like a very reasonable way to do it, better than just watching a video and trying to figure out, am I doing it right or not doing it right? This gives me real-time feedback.
Welcome back.
I was the lone fan. I was enthusiastic about what you were doing, and I thought it was really, really cool, and I could see myself using that, but some of my fellow judges didn't have the same sort of opinion.
Okay, thank you.
We're eager to see TA salsa. That's what
That
we
will
want.
make us
gonna
all
happen.
believers.
And I think as the technology evolves a bit further, it may make more sense, at least to me. So, you just may be a little bit early, which happens a lot. So we'll see. Or we may be completely wrong. That also happens a lot.
They often are completely wrong.
Jeff, I'm excited about what you guys are doing. I'm just coming off going to the fair where I was very used to spending lots of money on cool experiences. And so that really resonated with me. And as you think about your approach with the science centers, I think there's a lot there. As you referenced, people are already going there for entertainment and are spending money on those kind of experiences. We were all talking a little bit about the price point, and there was a little bit of shock there. But I think as you expand that, hopefully technology gets cheaper, and you're able to figure that out. But there's really something there. Thanks.
We love your focus. We love the desire to appeal to a particular customer demographic. That for me, as an entrepreneur, is always like, what customer problem are you solving first, and making sure that you do it better than anyone else.
Boaz, we also thought that, even if the customer focus is something that others will try to mimic, this basic technology sort of platform approach of an augmented reality, virtual reality catalog of physical goods needs to happen. That's very core. And so even if you end up having your persona for purchasing be somebody else than the salesperson, or if it just becomes kind of table stakes for the whole industry, you'll be in that right place if you can go fast and capture that market.
Yeah, we loved what you were doing, but we're hoping you would talk more about the actual analytics that could be delivered to the salesperson in that way that will make them more efficient, know what to do, who's sharing it, how they're seeing it, that type of thing, which ultimately supports your whole value proposition.
And so the winner is simply Augmented.
Super excited. I got a lot of great feedback from the judges. My big takeaway was to think about the end of the process and the way that analytics fit into the workflow and how you create a situation for salespeople to get even more value from the analytics at the end of dropping objects into the world.
This week's winner will advance to the next round with a chance to pitch live on stage in front of 1,000 tech and business leaders at the 2018 GeekWire's Summit in October. In our next episode, 3 new entrepreneurs will hop on board the Smith Tower elevator, competing for startup glory. Check out geekwire.com/elevator pitch for new episodes.